I want to start the presentation with a question, a test.
Okay.
Yep, a test for you to do. Okay.
Oh,
Okay. Right now we are looking at the key components of the standard model, right? You can
right.
see that, right?
Are you sharing your screen?
Oh, sure. I forgot again. Yep, of
Do you
course.
need me to open anything?
Probably not yet. Okay, so we are looking at the key components of the model, right?
1 second. Yes.
Okay. Now, I want to exclude two like points from this list. Okay, first the last one. Okay, coexistence of old and new. Categorically, this is not exactly a component of the model, meaning it's not a part of the model, but rather it's a restriction or a condition, okay, imposed on the model. And eventually, if we like end up with something like the one region template, we don't need to keep anything old. It's just like a requirement imposed on any possible model, okay, to allow for like old with new like mixed together. But eventually, we want to like get rid of all the old things.
Gotcha.
So exactly, this is not exactly like a component of my standard model. It's just a requirement, okay, imposed on all models.
Okay.
Web services, I want to like put them aside because web services are like cascade external in the sense that if you don't know them, they won't get into the way. If you know them, you want to use them, they are still like external in the sense that, I mean, you don't build anything inside Cascade, rather you use web services to talk to Cascade and ask Cascade to do something, right?
Gotcha. Right,
So
right.
I'll exclude these two, okay? Now, my question for you is this. Among the remaining components, if I'm to ask you to choose only one and allow you to keep only one, which one will you pick?
Well, I, well here, I like, well, ideally the instruction blocks and reduction of regions.
Yeah.
But one thing I thought about is the one thing about using block choosers is sometimes, I don't know if this is the case with blocks, but sometimes they don't show up as relationships. You know,
but when blocks are chosen in a block chooser, I believe they should show up in the relationship. There might be bugs, I mean, in the relationship part, but if it's chosen, I believe it should show up in the relationship.
Right. So, but with that caveat, assuming there are no bugs in the relationships with block choosers, that's the one I would pick.
Which one?
Reduction of regions.
Oh, okay, okay. Instruction blocks.
Instruction blocks.
Okay, okay. Let me give you the answer.
Okay.
If I'm to choose, okay, I will choose the fourth one.
Script blocks.
Notice, okay, I changed script blocks, okay, to singular and capitalize. Well, title case, okay, script block. Okay, let me explain. Today's presentation's title is like, okay, one template, one region, and lots of velocity tricks, okay, part 3.
Right.
The subtitle is The Almighty Script Block.
Okay.
Okay. Let me give you the reason why. And why I think it's important. Well, actually, this presentation probably is the most important among the 3. Let me ask the question, okay? What is the script block? Okay, let us start with this question first. Before today, I use like script blocks, okay, plural, in the sense that, okay, we are talking about blocks, okay, like doing some stuff. But this morning I changed my mind, and I used the singular, okay, and then I like use title case to like to call this, okay, the script block. Um, what is the script block? The script block is actually a design based on the idea of a block can convey information of formats, macros, and parameters.
Right.
Now, the script block design can be implemented any way you want. I'm saying they don't have to, well, script blocks, okay, plural, don't have to be XML blocks.
Right.
So
That's true.
I chose to like use XML blocks, but for example, I can put the XML block, XML markup, okay, in a text block.
Right.
And read it and read the text. I can put the code, okay, in, for example, a text area in a data definition block.
Right.
Or I can use fields, okay, to contain like values, okay, pointing to path. Remember, in a script block, in an XML block, I have like a scripts and then script, and then path, and then macros, and then parameters, right?
Right.
So you can put those values in a data definition block if you want to. You can also use feed block, provided, okay, the feed URL points to some XML that you can retrieve.
Right.
You can also use an index block. It's a twist. Remember, an index block can index any block you want. So it can index XML blocks, for example.
Oh, really? Okay.
Why not?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So an index block is just an extra layer on top of other blocks if you are indexing blocks.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
I can implement the idea of the script block using any types of blocks. I just like happen to choose, okay, XML blocks.
XML block. Right.
Okay. So why do I bring this up? The reason is this. I strongly believe, okay, the idea of script block is actually the signature of my standard model. Well, you look back, okay, when you look at instruction blocks, okay, you picked that one. In a second, I'm going to like tell you, actually a script block can do everything an instruction block can do. In just a second, okay? So I'm just saying you can use script blocks, okay, plural, okay, implemented in, for example, XML block or text block or whatever. You can use that to replace an instruction block and get rid of like regions and so on and so forth. Instruction blocks are handy, but they are not essential. Okay. So that's why I said, okay, the idea or the design of the script block is actually the signature of my standard model.
Okay.
Now, let me explain a little. Remember, within a script block, okay, now I use a script block, okay? So, for example, you can say, okay, well, in my model, I use XML blocks, okay, to like implement the idea of script block. Let's say, okay, a script block, okay, contains like format information. But remember, by format information, I mean the entire velocity, whatever.
Right.
Available to you, okay? And also remember, I enhanced velocity tremendously. For example, I can query the database. I can access backend Java objects. I can invoke XSLT. I can invoke web services. I can create SS. I can delete SS using velocity.
Right.
So with a script block, I can access anything I want with velocity.
Okay.
That's really, really powerful.
That's true.
So let us go back to an instruction block, okay? An instruction block is no more than a block containing two block choosers. One, the block you want to process. The other, instructions, okay? A script block, basically, a script block, okay? But do we have to have the first chooser? Meaning the block to be processed.
I guess not.
Exactly. Why not?
Because velocity, you can choose blocks in velocity.
You can use the locator tool to find the block.
Right.
As long as you pass in the path, well, the block information.
Right. That's true.
Now, there's one piece missing. Okay, I'll come back to this missing piece. Okay, in a second. But let us like look at, for example, data definition block. Okay, a slideshow. Let's say instead of using an instruction block, okay, containing the slideshow block, well, the data definition block in chooser A, and then the script block in chooser B, I can use just a script block, okay, containing a parameter. With that parameter, I can recover the slideshow block, the data definition block, using the locator tool, right?
Right.
So I just need to pass the path, okay, into a macro, and the macro will find the block and then process and then create the slideshow.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think of that.
Why not?
Right.
Okay. You can also process a text block. You can process a feed block. You can process an XML block if you want to.
Right.
Now, the problem is index block. Now, you should know that, okay, with the locator tool, you can find an index block, but you cannot get the index block XML.
Right. That's right. I remember that.
Yep, that's crucial, okay? But now, I mean, are our hands like tied with respect to index blocks?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Well, I can't think of a way around that problem.
Can you think of a way like to get around?
If there's some way to convert the text into XML.
Index blocks. Well, when you use an index block, okay, for example, to like index pages or blocks or whatever, okay, the indexed XML is not available anywhere unless you attach the index block into a block chooser, either in a region or in another block, something like that, or the default region. Otherwise, the XML won't be available.
Okay.
Okay. But actually, I created a way to make the XML available even to the locator tool a few weeks ago.
Okay.
How?
Yeah.
Well, you do it this way. First, okay, you create an index block to index whatever you want to, okay, pages, blocks, and so on and so forth. And then you attach this index block to an XML page. Okay. So the index, the XML page will actually contain the indexed XML.
Okay.
You publish the page, and then on the server, you use a web service script. Well, actually, the whole thing can be done by using web services. I post a program to do that. So using web services, okay, I need to pass in the ID of the index block. I use the ID to retrieve the index block, attach it to a page, an XML page, and then publish the page, and then read the published page content, and basically provide the XML as a feed. So the whole thing is done by web services.
So you use a feed block to access
and
the
then
index.
Inside Cascade, you use a feed block to read it back.
Oh, okay, okay.
I know it's a long way, okay, a roundabout way, but because index XML is not available inside
Right.
Cascade, so we have to do it this way. But actually, Hannon Hill plans to like make index XML available through the locator tool.
Okay.
They want to do that. So later, I don't even need to do this.
Right.
Okay. So what I'm saying is this: you can use a script block to read anything you want, including indexed XML.
Okay, okay.
Okay. But then you have the block content, okay, the XML, and then you have the instruction to process the XML. What else do you need?
I don't know.
You don't need anything,
Okay.
because that script block, okay, contains the data, and the presentation.
Oh, okay.
It contains the block, it contains the format.
So you're saying instead of having two block choosers, you can reduce that to one block chooser per.
I don't even need a block chooser. I put everything into the XML block.
Right.
Okay.
But how do you?
In the XML block, okay, in the XML block, I will need a format. Well, the path, okay, pointing to a format. I will need, okay, a macro name. And I need to pass in the path of the block I want to process.
Right.
The path will be passed into the macro. The macro will use locator tool to find the block.
Right. But I mean, in terms of your region substitutes, you would use a region
Yep.
to attach the script
A block and a format. Yep.
block and format. How would you? So you would still need a block chooser, right, to attach the.
Oh, sure. But that's in default.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Right? In default, any block chooser will do.
Gotcha.
So you attach a script block, okay, to a block chooser. Anyone will work.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm saying this, okay. I don't have to have index blocks. I don't have to have instruction blocks. I can stick with just script blocks, okay, provided I can use web services to read indexed XML. But that's a long way to go, okay? So I want to keep instruction blocks mostly because, okay, I want to avoid finding the index XML, meaning dealing with index blocks.
Right. Okay.
Okay, it's a shortcut. It's an easy way out, but it's not essential.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so meaning, okay, with a script block, I can get rid of all the regions except default.
Okay.
The same thing.
Right. Right.
Now, I want you to like consider, okay, actually what a script block can do for you. Instead of like removing regions, okay, just think in terms of site configuration now. Can you use script block to do site configuration?
Sure. Why not?
Why not? You use a script block, okay, to contain, for example, the site title, the site logo, the left column, the right column, whatnot. As long as you like give me enough information, I can locate any block you want. You can pass in, for example, 10 blocks if you want to, and I will process those 10 blocks and put everything into the right column, for example. You pass in, okay, a string, and then you tell me, okay, invoke a certain macro and deal with the site title. Well, I can create a div containing that string and put it into the site title area. Okay. The left column, navigation. If you insist, okay, you can use an index block to do the navigation. Well, tell me where the block is. I'll find the index block, grab the XML, okay, maybe through web services, and I'll create the left navigation.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, you just name it, okay, anything you want. I can do it with a script block.
Gotcha.
With the help of hide and show.
Right.
So you plug a script block anywhere you want, okay, into any block chooser. But there, I just create a hide something. And either in the template or somewhere you will put in a show something. Then I will put that thing, okay, into the right place.
Gotcha.
That's why I call it the almighty script block. It can do anything you want.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful.
Practically.
Yeah.
Yep. So I would say in the next few days, few weeks, I don't know. I want to explore the full potential of script blocks, okay, to see like where the limits are. I want to like push as far as I can and see where I will hit a dead end or a wall or something.
Right, right.
But I believe it is so powerful, it can practically do anything I want.
Well,
okay. Yesterday, yeah, your question.
No, never mind. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Yesterday I implemented something interesting using script blocks. Okay. Just want to like give you some idea how it can be used. Okay, let me just give you the page again. Okay, you saw the page, well, pages. Okay, 2 days ago, but let me pull them up again. No, can you see my screen? You
Yes.
can still see my screen, right? Okay. Remember, we looked at the slideshow pages.
Yes.
Something like this. Okay.
Yep.
So right now I put the slideshow in bottom outer, and this page is associated with an instruction block, and the instruction block contains a script block having code like this, right?
Right.
Now, I want you to look closely at this part. This part is part of the page, okay? Displaying code from an XML block.
Really?
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Before yesterday, this is static content, meaning I just put the content in onto the page in a WYSIWYG
Right.
before yesterday.
Right.
But now the content is actually dynamic in the sense that the content comes from the blog.
Wow.
Let me show you, okay? Let me just prove it. Okay, I'm going to like pull up the XML blog, okay, associated with that page. So I'm going to edit this page and retrieve the instruction block. And then through the instruction block, I get to the script block, okay? So that's what I'm trying to do. So this is the script block containing the code corresponding to this slideshow, okay?
Okay.
Now I'm going to change this, okay, to inner. Remember, I'm changing the XML block, okay? So the slideshow will move,
Right.
but I want you to look at the code on the page, okay?
Okay.
So I'm submitting the change. Now let us come back to the page, okay? Look at two places, okay? Look at the slideshow and look at the code. Outer. Oh, did I do it wrong? Oh, did I change it to? Oh, I changed it to inner or what? No. Did I change it?
Yeah.
I want to change it to outer. This is this is outer. I changed it to inner. Sorry, I got it wrong. So this is outer, but I changed it to inner.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So let us come back here. This is outer. Okay.
Right.
But I changed it to inner. And the code shows inner here.
It sure does. Wow.
Okay, let me just turn it back. Okay, turn it back to outer.
Okay.
Just one more time, okay, to make sure two things are changed. So I'm submitting outer. I come back here. I refresh the page. The slide is outer, but the code is also outer. So the code displayed here is actually read from the block, not a static part.
Right. Wow. So
Okay.
how'd you do that?
How did I do that? Well, it's easy. Back to the page. Let me edit the page. Okay. This is the slideshow we are using, okay? But down here, I have another block. Okay, this is a script block, and this is the magic script block, okay? Let me show you what is going on. First, I point to a format, okay, called high velocity code.
Okay.
And I am passing in the block, the XML block.
Okay.
And I'm passing in the site name.
Okay.
So that I can use the locator tool to find the block.
Right.
And I pass in the ID of the div I want to use.
Okay.
Okay. Now we are going to look at this format and this macro.
Okay.
Okay. So remember, I pass in three things: the block information, the site, and the ID of the div.
Gotcha.
Okay. So let us go to that format. So if I go to common assets and then high velocity code, it's this block, just 3 lines of code, okay? You pass in the path of the block, you pass in the site name. So I use the locator tool to find the block and read the XML.
Okay.
Okay. And then I create the div using the ID. So at the end, this will like have like a
Oh.
hide code 1.
Right. Right.
Store here.
Interesting.
Okay. Now back to the page. Because I have like high code 1, I have to have show code 1 somewhere, right?
Okay.
So if I go back to the page, right under the H2, no, what am I editing? Right under the H2, I have this, show code 1.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
That's in your WYSIWYG?
Say it again.
That's in your WYSIWYG?
Yes.
So the XML, the XSLT, the template level XSLT.
We'll move the XML code to this place.
Oh wow, I didn't know you could do that.
Why
With,
not?
I didn't know you could do it with WYSIWYGs. I thought it only applied. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. I didn't think of that.
Remember, I have already shown you a slideshow that can appear anywhere. Remember slideshow anywhere?
Right,
It's the
but
same mechanism. You just like plug in a div with an ID show something. There's something.
right,
Remember the something in my case is show whatever.
right.
So it will show whatever whenever you plug in this div.
No, yeah, I didn't realize, I didn't think that you could do that with the WYSIWYG.
Why not?
I can, like, it makes sense.
Remember, this is just a brick idea.
Right. Okay. Right. That's cool.
Yep. Now, a similar idea can be used to, for example, on this page. Let me just pull up the page. In my tutorial, velocity tutorial, 13, I believe it's 13, process block chooser. Okay, I'm explaining like how this macro works. Okay, now I have the code here, displayed here. Okay, the entire macro.
Okay.
Again, this is dynamic. This is not static.
That's neat.
I read, well, the code is read from somewhere, some source, and displayed here. So if I change the code there, the change will show up here. So I don't have to come back to this page and like edit the page and like display the code again. I don't need to. I just need to republish the page.
Wait a second. Is this, you're saying this code, this is being pulled from a velocity script?
This is pulled from a block,
Oh,
not from a script. You cannot really read a script, well, unless
okay.
you query the database.
Right. Okay.
But you can read from a block.
Okay.
So that's the change I made yesterday. Let me show you. Oh, I can go here. The code actually exists now in here. I moved it. No, where? Format. Library. I moved the code.
Oh, okay.
This is process block chooser.
Oh, okay.
It's in an XML block, so I can read the block and show the code.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you
By
don't,
using, yeah, go ahead.
by using the evaluate.
Of course. Oh, actually, here I don't need to. Well, there are two parts to it. Okay, because the code, okay, resides in an XML block. When I use this part as code, I have to read it first and then evaluate
Right.
as code. So I need to execute it.
Right.
But as a string to be displayed on a page, I just display it. I don't need to do anything.
That's pretty neat. So it's like you can
Yep.
self-document.
Exactly. Because I provide like code examples like on a lot of pages. This is the best way to do it. I just like hook up my page with the live code.
That's pretty cool.
I don't need to like, okay, copy the code, paste it onto my page. Every time when I change the code, I have to like update the page.
Yeah, right, right.
And I have a lot of pages to update.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
This is the best way of doing things.
Yeah, I see that.
I can actually put any code in XML blocks. Remember, any code. They are just strings.
Right. Any velocity.
But to use the code, it must be velocity.
Right. Oh, right, right.
Also notice, okay, there's something you need to watch out if you want to like try something like this. Have you noticed this?
Oh, yeah.
In XML, okay, the less than, greater than, ampersand will be turned into something. So when you read this, okay, this block of, well, the string, okay, when you read it, if you want to use it as code, if you want to evaluate, you have to turn, okay, these back to less than, greater than, ampersand.
Oh,
Using
you do?
replace all, you have to. Otherwise, because when this appears in velocity will treat it as just characters, not code.
Okay.
So a line like this will fail.
Is this a text block?
This is an XML block.
Okay. So
I use this ID to retrieve this whole thing.
So can you do a replace all with those greater than, less thans? Because
it's just a string.
Yeah, but in an XML block, doesn't it have to conform to XML rules?
They are like this precisely. They must conform to the XML requirement. You cannot put the less than here. But to treat it as code, you have to turn this back to less than or greater than.
But you're saying you do that in your before you evaluate.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I read this this XML block, use this ID, okay, to locate this element and grab the value. And then I read the string, okay, the value is the string. And then I use replace all to replace all the less than, greater than, ampersand. Then that's velocity code.
Yeah, yeah, okay, get it.
And then I evaluate.
That makes sense. That's smart.
Now, let me show you this format, okay? That's exactly what I did. Okay, first I locate the block, meaning this block, okay? The block containing the code you saw a moment ago.
Right, right.
I read the XML, okay, using get XML as XML element, get child, or the go blah, 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 okay?
Right.
And then I replace all the ampersand, all the less than, all the greater than.
Oh, and you
then
can
evaluate.
Nice. I see, yeah, I see you're doing some function chaining too.
Also notice, if I am to supply, okay, this model to other people, I need to update, okay, this block content, but I don't need to update this format. This format contains like constant content.
Right.
The variables are in the block, not in the format. So I separate the two so that I can use, okay, some, for example, web service, okay, to push the XML content into the XML block.
Okay.
So that people can have the most updated data.
Right.
That's the major reason why I do things like this.
Right. Okay.
So that's why I want to like start the presentation with the script block first. Okay, I would say the script block probably is the most powerful feature in the entire standard model with respect to velocity. Okay.
Gotcha.
On the other hand, I also need web services. Okay, so I would say these two are the most powerful features in the entire model.
You can only pick one though. Thought you said that.
No, I want to keep both.
Okay.
Now, let me talk a little bit more about the other components, okay? Let's say, actually, let us consider the possibility of using XSLT instead. Let's say you don't want to use velocity, okay? You are stuck with XSLT, let's say.
Right.
Can we do everything we did with XSLT?
I don't see how.
Remember, we cannot use script blocks because script blocks, okay, basically give you the information of like formats and blocks, okay. But with that kind of information, even with that kind of information, it's very hard, okay, to do it in XSLT.
Okay.
But I believe, okay, I truly believe there should be some way out. Though the way can be really, really clumsy. Remember, the whole point of like using a script block, okay, is basically tying a block and a format together, right? Like a region.
Right.
But now, let's say if you have a detailed mapping from block names to name templates, okay, template names. Let's say if you have a detailed map, okay, mapping all the blocks to some template names that you can call. Okay, you need a very long map. And then you have a huge switchboard. Okay, if you want this name template, you call this name template. If you have that name, you call that name template. And then pass in whatever you need to.
Okay.
It's still doable, I believe. Okay, I truly believe it's still doable. But the end result will be extremely clumsy, extremely long, because you need the map and you need from map value to the actual templates.
Okay.
I believe it's doable, but I don't want to try that. That's why I'm not sure. Okay, I don't even want to try it.
Okay. Gotcha. But there are some people that might.
Yeah, I would suggest if they want to like stick with XSLT, probably this is the way out.
Gotcha.
Now, if you look back at the other components, if you have script blocks, okay, with velocity,
Right.
you can actually do away all other things. For example, you don't need to like set up the data definition like carefully for blocks. Of course, you won't have like automatic macro invocation. You won't. But then you can pass all the needed information into a script block. You don't calculate what macro you want to call. You plug in the macro name.
Okay.
You don't need automatic macro invocation. You just process whatever script blocks you want to use. Of course, I mean, the script block must be named in a certain way so you know, okay, it's a script block.
Right.
But other than that, you don't need anything else.
Okay.
You run through the list, okay? Basically, a script block can do everything we want to do. Although, okay, the end result will be clumsy, a lot dirtier, but it's still doable.
Okay.
That's why I said, okay, using XSLT, I think it's still possible. Though, I mean, the end result will be very messy.
Okay.
Now, I also want to bring in another point here. Remember last time we talked about web services extensively with respect to change of data definitions. For example, if you like go from one design to another design, you might need to like change your page data
Yeah.
definition, right?
Right.
Now, can you avoid all changes? Can you do that?
I don't think so.
I disagree.
Oh, well, do you
Let's
mean,
say,
go ahead.
okay, go ahead.
I thought you meant like you can't foresee every data definition field you might need like a
True,
year from now.
true.
That's
But
what I meant.
just imagine what kind of information you need to add to a data definition. I'm not talking about specific information, but I'm talking about the type of information you want to add to a data definition. Just imagine what type of information.
You mean like an XML block or a text block, that kind of thing?
No, I mean, okay, let's say, just try to imagine, okay, 5 years from now, you need to change your data definition for the page, okay, in some way to deal with new technology.
Okay.
Okay, what kind of information do you need to add to the data definition?
I'm not sure. I know what you mean.
Okay, let me just give you the answer. Then
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Most likely, okay, the kind of information you want to add to a data definition is most likely, okay, be related to layout, output, and probably like selection of like parts from the page, like persona.
Okay.
So you might end up with something, okay, some flexible layout. Well, that's all about presentation.
Okay.
Okay. Data, well, skipping some, including some. Okay, that's the data part. So I'm including both. Well, if you like are familiar with the MCV model, so we have like the model, the data, and then the view, okay, presentation, and the controller.
Right.
Okay, but the controller can be velocity, so we don't need to worry about that. So most likely, if you change your data definition because of two reasons, you want to change the data, you want to change the presentation, right?
Right.
But can you do that with script blocks?
Yeah, probably.
Why not? Now, just think in terms of like the layout, okay? Let's say right now your data definition, okay, doesn't provide anything related to layout. Well,
Right.
just like regions, okay, maybe.
Right.
I don't know. I'm talking about regions in the sense that, okay, you have block choosers and those block chooser content will show up in some region. Okay,
Okay.
using high show, for example.
Right.
Now, if you want to, for example, change from a page, okay, without the left column to a page with a left column, let's say.
Okay. Okay.
Do you have to use a data definition field to do that?
No, probably not.
Probably not. Because, okay, within a block chooser, of course, you have to provide me plenty of block choosers, okay? Within a block chooser, any block chooser will do, but I prefer like putting the block chooser in the page config group so that you know where to find those block choosers, okay? If you have a group, okay, for page configuration, you put a script block in one of those block chooser, and in the script, okay, you indicate, do you want a left column or do you not? If you want a left column, how wide do you want it to be? You pass in, for example, a CSS class. Using this information, you can calculate how to deal with the central column and the right column. You can actually pass all the information into the block. And then, okay, tell me, okay, do you want to divide it by like 3.9 or 3.63 or 4.8 or 5.7 if you insist?
Okay.
Right?
Right.
You can pass all the layout information into a script block and then create the layout.
I suppose
And then you pass in whatever block you want to display in that layout with block paths. Right?
Wait, say that again? Block paths.
I'm saying, let's say you are creating a row.
Okay.
You're familiar with bootstrap rows, right?
Right.
So let's say we are just like looking at a row. The row can be the page itself, okay? But let us like focus on the row. Now, in the row, you need to cut up, okay, the horizontal region into like either 12 equal parts or 3, 9 or 8, 4 or 4, 8 or 5, 7, whatever, right?
Right.
Now, you can pass all the information, including content, into a block, the script block. For example, you want to cut it up into 7, 5, let's say.
Okay.
Now, of course, you need to give me 2 blocks, okay? Who goes to the 7 part, who goes to the 5 part, right?
Right.
But you also need to give me the information about how to cut it up, okay? 7, 5. Well, you pass in the class names, okay? Whatever 7, whatever 5.
Right.
And then you just call a macro and then process the whole thing, okay? First, cut up this row into like 7 and 5, and then process the contents of the 2 blocks, insert them into these 2 areas, and you're done.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's true.
You don't need to, okay, change your data definition to take care of something like layout.
Okay.
Meaning this, you can stick with your current data definition, provided, okay, you provide me enough block choosers to use.
Right. Right. Right.
Well, that's why, okay, right at the beginning, you might want to like create some block choosers, okay, in the site config group, in the page config group. They are multiple, so you can like have as many as you want.
Gotcha.
Okay, but once you have that, you can actually survive without changing your data definition.
Right. Right. Okay.
And when you move from one design to another design, you stick with script blocks. You don't need to change your data definition.
So the only reason you'd need to change your data definition is if you needed to add a field for a user to input data.
Something like that, yes, not for configuration.
Gotcha.
But then you should have already provided enough block choosers for them to use.
Okay.
I'm just saying, if you look at my implementation, okay, roughly, okay, it looks like this. First, you have a field for the H1 and then a WYSIWYG for default content. Okay. And after that, you have a group, okay, a multiple group with block choosers and WYSIWYG inside. You can have as many as you want.
I see.
And below that, you have the row. You can like, in the row, you only have block choosers, okay? And then below row, you can have left column, right column. And then below left column, right column, you have site config and then page config.
Right, right.
That's my design of my data definition. But now when I look back, I don't need that many things.
I see.
That means, okay, you can like start with any data definition, provided, okay, you have enough block choosers inside. Well, sensibly, you should group them.
Right.
Okay. So you have like something for users to use, something for the administrators to use, something for page configuration, something for site configuration, things like that. Okay, you have to have these, okay, right at the beginning. But once you have them at the beginning, later on, okay, when you move from one design to another design, if you are willing to use script blocks, you don't need anything new.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Exactly. So once you understand how to use script blocks, you don't even need to change your data definition for pages,
Right.
but for the page.
Right, right. Okay.
And it will save you a lot of trouble, okay? You know what I mean, okay? So when you use web services to migrate, okay, from one design to another design, you won't even run into the problem of phantom looks and phantom values.
Right, right, right. Gotcha.
So I would say the idea of script block is extremely powerful, extremely important in the whole design.
Oh, okay. I can see why you'd say that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because it can basically replace anything we have talked about so far.
Right.
Although, I mean, if you get rid of, for example, automatic macro invocation, okay, the code will be a lot clumsier, okay? If you get rid of like code templates, I have to repeat a lot of code. Of course, I have to do that, okay? But it's still doable.
Right, right. So that's why it's the most important. You're not saying that it's going to replace everything else.
Nah, nah, nah. That's why I started with the question, okay? If you are to pick only one besides web services, okay, you can only pick one. What do you pick? Well, I'll pick script block
Gotcha.
because it can do anything I want. Although maybe a lot clumsier, a lot dirtier, but still I can do it.
Okay.
But of course, okay, my model, okay, includes all these components, then I can do it any way I want.
Right, right,
And
right,
I can end up with extremely clean code.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, enough time spent on script block, but I just want to point out, okay, probably this is the most important idea in the entire design. I realized that last night.
Gotcha, gotcha. I think I can see why you would say that.
Uh-huh. Okay, back to dispatching macro, okay. I will pick up XSLT. Well, XSLT, I would say, I think I have already said enough. I still think it's possible to do the whole thing using XSLT, but I just don't want to bother, okay? The end result will be extremely clumsy,
Yeah.
extremely large,
Right.
extremely dirty.
Yeah.
I'll leave it aside, okay? I don't even want to think about it. But I would say probably possible, but I don't want to try.
Okay.
Now, back to dispatching macros. I remembered when I talked about code templates, okay, I brought up the two ideas. Okay, let me just bring up the agenda again. So in code templates, I mentioned, okay, dispatching macros and macro aliases. I talked about macro aliases, but I didn't really talk about dispatching macros. I just want to like explain briefly what they are and how, well, briefly, okay, how code templates can help to cut down my code. Back in macro aliases, okay, do you remember what they are?
Yeah, that was. I remember you talking about it.
Remember sitemaps?
Yes. Oh, okay. That did that have to do with writing code to write other code?
Yes, but macro aliases, okay, they are this. You can have one single macro to do the real dirty job,
Right.
and you can have multiple aliases all calling the same macro.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Okay, this allows you to name your blocks any way you want.
Right.
For example, when you create, for example, feed blocks, okay, you are using feeds a lot, let's say, okay, then you every feed block, okay, you have a unique name. Let's say that you have a lot of feed blocks, okay, in one site, and you put all the feed blocks, okay, into one single folder. Then all of them must have like unique names, right?
Okay.
Then all the feed blocks, okay, will invoke different macros to process them.
Okay.
But let's say all the feed blocks, okay, do exactly the same thing, okay, though different feeds, okay, but you still produce the same kind of result. Just like sitemaps.
Okay.
Okay, so you will invoke many different macros, but all those macros will invoke the single unique one to do the real dirty job.
Gotcha.
They are just aliases.
Right. Right. Right.
Okay, so we can use a code template to generate all these macros.
Okay.
Okay, now dispatching macros are different, but it's also easy to understand. If you look at process block chooser again, okay, so let us bring up the code again. Right here, okay, process block chooser. This is what I call switchboard code, okay, switchboard, okay, basically a whole bunch of like if else.
Mm-hmm.
If this is the case, do this. If that's the case, do that, right?
Right.
But if you look closely, okay, I only decide, okay, whether it's a data definition block or whether it's an XML block, whether it's an index block, but I don't do anything else, especially with respect to data definition blocks.
How
We
come?
haven't come to group yet, right?
Oh, okay.
Do you notice? We only determine, okay, this is a data definition block.
Oh,
And
okay.
I send it out. I don't deal with it.
Okay.
But then, what's next?
Well,
Okay, I know it's a data definition block, all right, but I don't deal with it. So someone has to deal with it, right?
right.
So you also have seen, okay, what I call group macros, meaning macros, okay, dealing with groups.
Okay.
Right? But there's something missing in the middle. You send something, okay, the data definition block to something, and that something will look at the data definition block and determine what group macro to call. Right?
Okay.
So that missing something will actually look at the data definition block to decide, okay, whether it's a single functional or multifunctional. If it's single functional, use the type info, calculate the macro name, send it out. If it is a multifunctional, then it look at the radio button, look at the value of the radio button chosen, attach the group to it, and then calculate the macro name, and then send it out. Right?
Okay. Okay.
This missing piece is called a dispatching macro.
Okay.
It looks at whatever this process block chooser, okay, send it. It will look at the block, and it will know, okay, it's a data definition block. But it still need to look inside, okay, and then determine what to do next, and then dispatch the group to the group macro.
Okay. So
Now,
what does this look like?
what does it look like? I
Yeah.
cannot show you the code because
Okay.
it's generated.
Oh, okay.
Okay. If you look for the definition of a dispatching macro, sorry, it's missing. It's generated. But you still see the code template. Let me bring up the code template.
Wow.
Right here. Can you see that?
Yes, you can see it. Yep, starts with dispatch.
This is a single group dispatching macro. Okay. So basically, you need to give me the name of the macro. Okay. And then I'll generate the real macro.
And then what's system data structure?
System data structure is whatever passed to me by process block chooser.
Okay.
Okay, let us look back. Right here. First child is system data structure.
Right. Okay.
Right?
Right. Which is the data definition.
Yep.
Okay.
So I can use this, okay, to generate whatever single functional dispatch macro, okay, using this template. As long as you give me the name.
Right.
I will calculate the group. It's
Wow.
easy to calculate a group, okay? You give me the name, I attach group to it and turn it into a macro name, and I invoke it. And the system data structure is already passed to me. So I just like send it out. But not really send it out. I read the group, send out the group.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yep. I can do that. And for multifunctional macros, I also do this, okay? I can generate all of them.
For multifunctional. Okay.
Yep. That's why I need to keep, okay, lists, okay? Now I isolated them, okay, into separate files. These files are new. I created them just yesterday. Now I need a list, okay, to store, for example, like single functional block types.
Okay.
You saw this before, okay? So for example, WYSIWYG, okay, from this list, I will produce process WYSIWYG. And I will
Okay.
produce process WYSIWYG group.
Nice.
Okay. From this, I will create the macro called process designer pro block. Inside, I will look at whatever block you picked from a radio button, and I will call the correct group macro to process it.
Wow. Wow.
So that's what I told you last time. You stick a block, okay, a data definition block into a block chooser, and then the automation kicks in, okay. Starting from process block chooser, it will look at, okay, this is a data definition block, okay. It will send the data definition block to a dispatching macro. The dispatching macro will look at the data definition block and decide, okay, is it single functional? Is it multifunctional? But the code is generated, okay. If it's single, then it send it to a single group. If it is multiple, then look at which group macro should call, and then it send it to the corresponding group macro.
Gotcha.
Of course, you still need to write the code, okay, for the group macro. But starting from plugging in the block, ending in the group macro code, everything in the middle is already taken care of. You just need to add, okay, whatever name you need to like use. For example, for a single functional, you need to like put the type information here. For a multifunctional, you need to put the process, whatever type, okay, here.
Okay.
For sitemap, okay, you deal with the aliases like this. So whatever aliases you have, you put the alias here. That everything will be taken care of. So I need 3 lists right now. One for single functional data definition block, one for multifunctional data definition block, one for sitemap.
Okay.
But later on, if I need to, like, for example, deal with feed blocks, for example, I have a lot of feed blocks, okay, dealing with different types of feeds. But somehow they all do exactly the same thing. So I need to provide one single macro to process all the feed blocks. But then I will end up with a lot of aliases. I will create another list here, another code template in the block, and generate all the code.
Okay.
Okay. So dispatching macros are related to code templates. Okay. So I can generate code to deal with aliases. I can also generate code to deal with dispatching macros.
Gotcha.
So I don't need to write code to do that. So if you search the system, okay, for example, # process site index map, process sitemap index, you won't find a macro.
Oh, okay.
It's not defined. It's generated.
Gotcha.
If you like look for, okay, the definition of like process designer pro block, you won't find it. Again, it's generated.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay. That's why I can, well, because again, this is the beginning of like using this design. Later on, I will have probably long list of like a single like functional, multifunctional, probably not too long, okay, because they are doing multiple things at the same time. But for sitemap, for example, I can have 10, 20, 50 of them later on.
Okay.
And I just like need to keep adding names here. That's all.
So would you say that's one of the trade-offs of using script blocks, using this whole model that requires script blocks, is that, you know, you can't search for a velocity script, or, you know, you can't use search the same way you used to when everything was velocity scripts and XSLT?
Okay, this is not about searching. Remember, this is about calculating macro names and automatic invocation of macros.
Oh no, I know, but you said
okay.
You said some of these formats are generated. Some of the code
I'm talking about macros generated.
Macros. Right. Okay.
Right. So if you use like script blocks, they are kind of like not related. Well, related in the sense that, okay, if I can do this, okay, if I can generate macros, I can call these macros in script blocks.
Oh, I see.
Of course I can. They are generated. I don't care where they come from, okay? They are written in a format or they are generated. I don't care.
Right, right.
As long as they are available when I need them. So
Okay.
they are related in the sense, okay, you can pass this name into a script block without supplying the format because this macro doesn't exist in the format.
Hmm. Because it
Do you
gets
follow?
generated. It gets
It's
generated.
generated.
Right,
It's
right.
generated.
Yeah.
So you don't need a format to call this macro. As long as the macro is already generated right at the beginning, you just call it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
It's cool. Oh, it's a cool concept.
Yep. Okay, what else do I want to talk about? I talked about, well, I think I am almost done. I believe I talked about dispatching macros. Yeah, let me pull up the email I sent you just to make sure I covered everything I wanted to cover. Let's see. And yeah, not this one. Okay, I talked about XSLT. I said, okay, probably possible, but very clumsy, very dirty. And then I've just like explained what dispatching macros are. Oh, we didn't look at like processScript, okay? And then we talked about the lab nav and the breadcrumb and so on and so forth, but I didn't really talk about how to generate it in the default. Well, let me pick it up, okay? So I need to talk about two more things, okay? How to generate the left navigational menu and the breadcrumb in default related to the index cache problem. And then
Okay.
we look at the processScript macro.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So let us talk about how to like deal with the left navigational menu and the breadcrumb. So I actually generate everything in default. So default, I have a macro called process breadcrumb page info last modified, well, everything processed here. And then I have like a process page system data structure. The menu is actually generated, let's see, process, oh, I don't remember the macro name. Let's see, left menu, left menu. Okay. Process left menu right here. So it's called inside process page system data structure. Now, the reason why I did this is this. You should know, okay, the index cache problem inherited in Cascade. It's been a while. Actually, it was discovered in 2013. I believe it's around sometime around May. And I ran into it around September of the same year, just a few months after they documented it. It's this, okay? When you use an index block to index anything, okay, pages, blocks, and so on, and then you attach the index block to a block chooser, the block chooser can be in another block or in a page, okay?
Right.
So an index block attached to a block chooser, either in a data division block or in a page.
Right.
You navigate from page to page. Well, essentially, okay, it will show up easily if you attach the index block to a block chooser on a page, okay? If you do that, then the cache problem, okay, the index cache problem will show up somewhere. It means this. When you navigate from page to page, okay, with the same index block attached to the same block chooser from page to page, the index content won't update correspondingly.
So wait, what? So it doesn't matter what the index block is indexing?
It doesn't matter.
You're saying that if you change a page, or if you change something being indexed by that index block, it won't be reflected? if it's
Well,
attached to a page?
let me
Or
give you
boxes?
my configuration. It's
Okay.
easy to show it that way. You can try it actually.
Okay.
Okay, I did this. Okay, because before I turned to this model, okay, I did this. It's still in use for like non-responsive sites. Okay, you start with an index block to index a site so that you can generate, for example, the left navigational means. Okay, you index a site.
Okay.
Or you can index the folder. You don't have to index the whole thing. Okay, you can index the current parent folder.
Right.
Okay,
Right. Okay.
you attach the index block to another block, what I call a configuration block.
Okay.
And then the configuration block is not attached anywhere. Instead, it's picked up by indexing.
Okay.
So do you see the setup? First, I have an
Yeah.
index block attached to a config block. And then the config block is picked up by indexing.
Oh.
And that index block will be attached to a page region. So we have like 3 different layers, from the page to the index block, from the index block to the config block, from the config block to the eventual index block.
Okay.
So I have like 4 layers.
Can you show this to me?
I need to go to the old setup. So let me go to a site with the old setup. For example, anesthesiology. This is a config block, okay?
Okay.
So this config block, no, I mean the left column. It contains this index block.
Okay.
To pick up the left menu.
Okay.
But this config block, okay, is picked up by an index block. So let me like edit a page and show you what picks it up. It's picked up by this index block, site block indexing.
Okay.
So on the page, this index block will pick up this block.
Oh,
and this
okay.
block contains the left, the index block, okay, to create the left menu.
So you use the site block indexing to consolidate all
Site
the
config.
all the
Yeah,
information.
all these blocks. Yes.
Okay.
In this setup, for some reasons, okay, I don't see well, for one reason, I don't see the cache index problem. Okay.
So you're saying that
Because
it updates.
Because what? Say it again.
You're saying when you say you don't see the cache index problem, you're saying that it works fine here.
Well, actually, I see the cache problem, but I solved it with one help right here.
Mm-hmm.
I use a velocity script to solve the problem.
Okay.
How?
Yes. How?
Remember, velocity provides me current page.
Okay.
And indexing, okay, goes wrong when I look at the current attribute.
Right.
Now, I can compare the current attribute with current page.
Okay.
If they are equal, I know I'm looking at the correct indexed information. If they don't match, then whatever returned to me by indexing is wrong.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. No, I get it.
Okay, so I need to use this technique in my new setup, okay, in the standard model. So in the standard model, I still use index blocks to index folders, to index like calling page and so on and so forth. But every now and then, I have to use, for example, current page folder path, the locator to, and so on and so forth, to match whatever I am indexing and compare them. If they are different. Okay, ask your question.
Yeah, I was going to say, what if they're different?
Well, most likely, okay, because when I like look at the index information, most likely I will need, okay, the current attribute. Where am I? Right? because I'm talking about the left menu, I'm talking about the breadcrumb, and so on. So I need to know where I am.
Right.
So I need to look at the current attribute of the returned XML from the index block. Right. Now, I just want to make sure the current, the current page contains the current attribute. That's what I need to make sure, right?
Oh, okay.
But every now and then, the current page, I'm talking about when I visit a page, okay, this page actually doesn't contain the current attribute.
Oh, okay.
Because of the cache problem. Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
So I need to look at the current page provided to me by velocity. Read the path of the current page. Well, actually, there's a variable, okay, current page path, okay. I need to use that path to compare the path returned by the index block where there's a current attribute. I need to compare them.
Oh, okay.
If they're the same, I know the index information is correct. I can use it.
Right.
Else, I need to find the current page.
And how do you do that?
With that path.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Right?
Gotcha.
I have the path from current page.
Right.
And the path also exists in the index XML.
Right.
I have everything, but I just need to match them.
Oh, I see. Well, that's
So
cool.
if you want to write your own code to, for example, to create the left menu, to create the breadcrumb, to create whatever using indexing, you have to watch out, okay, for this problem, the index cache problem.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, I mean, you see weird things, okay? The easiest thing to see, okay, is when you navigate from one page to another page in another folder, okay, at upstate, okay, the business logic dictates, okay, each folder will have a unique left menu. When you navigate from one page in one folder to another page in another folder, the left menu should change.
Right, okay.
But when this problem manifested, okay, when it shows up, you will see a new page with an old left menu.
Okay. That's interesting.
It's totally out of the place, okay? You don't even see your current page in the menu.
Wow.
It can go wrong terribly.
Yeah. That's a bad bug.
Well, I want to give you some more information related to this, okay? This is called the index cache problem. But I believe, okay, I strongly believe it's deeper than that.
How so?
Because first, okay, it takes almost 3 years now, okay, for Hannon Hill to fix, and they haven't fixed it yet, okay? I don't know whether they plan to fix it. Because I was told, okay, it's very complicated, okay?
Okay.
But in one occasion, I found it extremely strange, okay? I know, okay, I was doing things crazy, and I was like indexing my entire Cascade site, okay? I was indexing the entire site with more than 1,000 pages. And I was returning all the page XML. Okay?
Wow, that's a lot.
I know. Hannon Hill talked about like the best practice, okay, of using index blocks, okay? You're not supposed to do that.
No.
I know that, okay? I know that. But at one point, I was like indexing all the pages with XML, like page XML returned. Of course, it will bog down the entire system, okay? At one point, it would die, actually. Not killing the server. I'm not saying killing the server. It will just say, okay, I cannot go on, like indexing all the things, okay? It will show me an error.
Right.
Now, if I use the same mechanism on a small site, it won't bog down the entire thing, okay? So I index all the pages in a small site. you returning all the page XML, okay? Now, before I wrote my new code to match current page with whatever like index content, the left menu problem showed up, okay?
Okay.
And then I turned off the cache, okay? I turned off the cache, the index cache.
Okay.
It didn't solve the problem.
Okay.
It means it has nothing to do with caching.
Oh, gotcha. That's true. Yeah, right.
It's shown in caching, all right. But I ran into this situation where I turned off caching and it still survives.
So what do you think it is?
I don't know because I can't access the source code. I don't know.
Okay.
But I believe it's deeper than just caching. And probably they are still hunting for it.
Right, right.
And that's why it's so hard to fix.
Right, right, right.
Okay, enough about this, okay? I just want to warn you, okay? When you write your own code, because you have to, okay? You sometime, okay, you need to like write your own format to produce the breadcrumb, the lab navigation. If you use my setup, okay, you are bound to run into this problem sooner or later.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay, and I have warned Hannon Hill, okay, when more people do things like what I'm doing, this problem will pop up again and again.
Yeah, it seems like it should be a feature you should be allowed to do.
Well, it's already documented. They
Right,
just
right.
don't plan to like fix it soon.
Right, or they don't know how to fix it or for whatever reason. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there's an easy way out, okay, for everybody. There's an easy way out. If you stick with velocity, or you have to use velocity, okay, use current page. Because current page is like generated independently. It's not indexing.
Okay, gotcha.
So you get the current page and then like get the path, and then you compare the path with whatever, okay, within the index XML. You know, if they are the same, you can go ahead. If they are not the same, you retrieve the current page.
But didn't you say that you can't, that index blocks are problematic?
No, I am saying it's problematic because it doesn't update information, the indexed information.
No,
But
I mean,
what I rely on, yep.
no, besides the index caching problem, isn't
Mhm.
isn't earlier you mentioned that you can, I think it was related to script blocks. You can a script block could be in any type of block except an index block, because you can't access it as XML. So
Well,
doesn't that
if
issue
you
apply
use
here
the
too?
locator, if you use the locator tool to locate an index block, you can't see the XML.
Oh, it's with the locator tool.
But you
Okay.
attach the XML block to a chooser. Of course, you can see the XML.
Oh, okay, okay. That's a difference.
But then
Gotcha.
if you attach an index block to a chooser of another data definition block, and then you like index it, then you will run into this problem.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I just want to like remind you, okay, you need to watch out for this, okay? Whenever you see, okay, you are using an index block somewhere, and then somehow, okay, the information is not correct, especially when you use the current attribute,
Mhm.
then you need to use current page to solve the problem.
Okay.
Okay, the last part I want to talk about is processScript. It will be easy. It will be fast.
Okay.
I just want to like show you the code, how a script block is processed. When I think about it, I kind of want to like draw it looks like my asset tree in the sense that the setup is extremely simple, extremely easy, but it's extremely powerful.
What are we talking about now?
I'm talking about processScript. Okay, let me
process
bring
script.
up the script first, okay? Process script is in macro utilities. Or not. Where is it? Nope. I don't remember where I put it. 1 second. Where is it? Global values. Is it here? Process script. Process structures. I don't remember where I put it now. It's hidden somewhere. Can you believe that? Because I've been like moving things around so often that I don't even remember where I put the code. Process script. Never mind. It's on the page. I need to find it later.
Okay.
Okay, let me just pull up the page. Velocity. Stop doing that. Okay, let's see.
Just practicing for Monday.
Okay. On this page, let me like show you the path to the page first. Okay. You go to my site and then well, let's start from the top. You go to velocity tutorial, and
Right.
then on lesson 14, the last chapter currently, you will see discussion on like the script block, what I talked about today. And here is an XML schema of a script block. So what can appear in a script block,
Wow.
and the process script code. I will replace this, okay, using dynamic XML block, okay, but right now I can't even find it.
Right.
Okay, if you look at the code, okay, it's extremely simple. That's what I meant, okay. I want to draw like a parallelism, okay, between this macro with my asset tree in web services, in the sense that the setup is extremely simple, not much code inside, but it's so powerful because you need to write your own code.
Oh, really?
Yep. Okay, let me just run through the code, okay? Okay, first, okay, I need to know, okay, when it's in like invoked, okay? Then, I mean, you need to like use this, okay, as a suffix in your script block. So all script blocks, okay, must end with like script, the suffix dash script.
Okay.
Okay, so let me just show you a script block again. A moment ago, we saw in my blogs and then script. If you look closely, these blocks all have the same suffix, script.
Okay.
When you attach it to a block chooser, then this macro will be invoked. Okay, just by calculating the name. Well, when I see the suffix script, I know what to do.
So you use like ends with or some function like that. Okay.
Okay. Next, I read, okay, the script element inside. Remember, in the script block, you should have the root element scripts, okay, plural. And then inside the scripts, okay, you should have like script children. So I'm just reading those script children.
Okay.
Okay. If there are more than one children, okay, then I read the path, evaluate the path, okay, by importing it.
Okay.
And then I read, okay, whether there are any like macros. If there are macros, then I start creating a statement.
Okay.
And every time when I see a variable, I attach the $sign in front of a variable.
Right.
And every time when I see a parameter is a value, okay, I turn it into a value and then attach everything to create a statement. And then the last step to evaluate it.
Okay. Wow.
The mechanism is extremely simple, okay? You can pass in anything, okay, in the script block. Well, provided you give me the path, then I will import the script. Provided you provide me like a macro, I will create a statement including the macro name. If you provide me parameters, I'll include everything into the macro statement. At the end, I invoke it.
Okay. Oh, okay.
The mechanism is extremely simple, but then you can pass in anything. But then you deal with whatever you pass in.
I see.
It's kind of like the XSLT, okay? I provide you a mechanism to traverse something, but you still need to write your own code to do the real thing.
Gotcha.
So here I write the skeleton, but you still need to deal with, for example, macros you want to like really to invoke. You deal with, okay, variable names. You deal with parameters. You deal with whatever format you want to write. You just pass the information in, and I'll trigger everything.
So where's the results array?
The result array is actually wherever you plug in this block.
Oh,
The content will show on the page.
Good one. That's pretty cool.
Yep. So this is a simple macro, but it does a lot, okay? In the sense that I build the logic, but you fill in the blanks, okay?
Yeah. I wouldn't call it that simple, but it definitely is powerful.
Yeah, if you want to use other mechanism, then you write your own like processScript macro. But if you use mine and then like follow the naming convention, it will work.
Right. Yeah, it looks powerful.
Yeah. Okay, I would say that's enough for the presentation. I mean, 90 minutes already. Do you have any questions? Oh, thank you.
Do I have any questions? Not right now.
Do you have any questions?
No, not right now.
Okay.
So let me stop recording.
Okay.
Okay.